Welcome back to my channel, everybody. Am I the a-hole for acting like a maid at my sister's house after she gave birth to twins? My sister, 39 female, just had twins 2 weeks ago via C-section. If you've ever been around someone recovering from a C-section, you know it's basically major abdominal surgery. I can attest to that. I had a C-section with my son. She's exhausted, sore, still bleeding, and trying to figure out life with two newborns. Her husband, 32 male, has been less than helpful. He keeps telling her that she should do her job. She needs to handle everything at home, including cleaning, laundry, cooking, and, of course, taking care of two babies. She called me crying one night because she was overwhelmed, so I went over the following day. Now, I didn't go over to hold babies and be the fun aunt. I know my sister. She cannot stand clutter in her home, and her house was stressing her out on top of everything else. So I cleaned, organized, folded laundry, loaded the dishwasher, wiped down the counters, vacuumed, and I even prepped a couple of meals for her. That's a great sister. Absolutely a great sister. I told her not to worry about lifting a finger. She cried again, but this time out of sheer gratitude. She kept saying how much it helped her mental health just to have a clean space while she heals. That is so important. Having the right surrounding after giving birth can be life-changing. When you have a new baby, any mothers period, can confirm that you just need a mental break sometimes. You just need a hot shower. You just need somebody to cook a home-cooked meal for you. You just need somebody else to grab the baby when they start crying because you are mentally exhausted. I don't think people take that into consideration, that having a baby is a life-changing experience. And we all need help sometimes, depending upon the circumstances. But I digress. Here's the problem. Her husband came home and was livid. Not at me, per se, but at her. He accused her of making him look bad because I came over and did everything he thinks she should be doing. He literally said, "She's the mom, not you. You're just acting like a maid." Sometimes all you need is a maid, baby. For the record, my sister didn't even ask me to do all of the things that I did. I did it because I could see she needed help. There's that empathy again. I've talked about it before in a previous episode. My sister defended me and told him she's still healing. Doctors literally told her not to lift anything heavy and not to overexert herself. He brushed it off and doubled down that she should suck it up because everyone else manages. Now, there's tension in the house. My sister keeps thanking me, but her husband's icy with her and making snide comments like, "Don't worry, your maid will handle it." I feel awful because the last thing I wanted to do was make things worse for her. As I previously mentioned before, sometimes men have an inability to read the room. Sometimes men lack empathy when it comes to a situation like this, because a lot of men, unfortunately, are extremely misogynistic, and they think that the woman's responsibility is to simply have kids. So If that's your responsibility, that means you should be able to take care of your kids without help, right? Wrong. And I can guarantee you money. As stated in this, the husband is coming home from work and he's not jumping in and helping. Is there anything I can do for you? How can I help you with the babies? Can I put them to sleep instead of you? You go take a shower. Let me cook dinner. It takes a household to run the household. The husband has to participate too. It can't just be the wife doing everything, which is typically the way that it is now. I can't speak for every household, but clearly I have heard many men say they don't do anything around the house because that's a woman's job. If I'm leaving the home and the wife is a stay-at-home mom or on maternity leave, how dare her ask that I help her to do anything in the household? Because she should be equipped, right? Wrong. Because we all need help doing some things, especially if we're a new parent. There is a learning curve to that. But there is absolutely an update. Hi everyone. Thanks for all the comments on my original post. A few days have passed and things have escalated. The next day, after I posted, I packed up my sister and the twins and moved them into my house. She's now staying in my master bedroom, so she has space, privacy, and an ensuite. And I moved into my guest bedroom. Now, about her husband. He is a doctor, which makes it even worse that he's been acting like her C-section recovery is no big deal. So yesterday, I went down to his hospital. I told the nurses and the receptionist everything that he's been doing and not doing at home. I wasn't screaming or anything, just very loudly sharing stories in places where a lot of people could overhear. Like how Dr. X thinks his wife should scrub floors while she's still bleeding from abdominal surgery. Let's just say his coworkers now know he's a lot better at prescribing rest than actually supporting it. After that, I called his mom. For context, she and I are really close. We're basically the same person in different ages. I told her every single detail. Glad to say she was not impressed. And I didn't stop there. I told the rest of the family, close relatives, extended family, cousins, everybody. If he wanted my sister to feel humiliated and unsupported, now he gets to feel it too. Yes, I know what I did was a total bitch move, but sometimes two negatives make a positive. It even says so in math. It absolutely does. So here's the update I'm sure many of you were waiting for, and I hope I was petty enough for all of you individuals. Yes, her husband was extremely disrespectful. Yes, her husband was not supportive. Yes, her husband showed his true colors in this instance. Do I feel like you should have went to his job and let other people outside of your familial spaces know what was going on with him? I do not. Do I understand? I absolutely do understand. So what I'm going to say is that you are not the a-hole, but you are pre-a-hole status in this particular instance. You are absolutely right to share that information with his mother, with your mother and father, because she will need their help moving forward. Obviously, you are a great sister. You are empathetic. You are supportive. You listen. You were able to move forward and help her in ways that she probably couldn't even voice at the time. She was overwhelmed. So I'm glad that you listened to the things that were not being said, because sometimes that matters the most. So no, you are not the a-hole, but her husband is.